Hello, and welcome to episode 5, I believe, of I haven't decided what to call this yet. I didn't post yesterday because I wasn't feeling good. Like physically, I was feeling not good, and I decided to give myself the day off, which is one thing that's really nice about being your own boss is that you can like do whatever you want as long as you could still run your business. When I have days like that, it's actually really good. My body like forces me to slow down, and I can sort of like check in with myself, listen to myself. And one thing that I realized that is it's actually more cognitively and emotionally taxing to excavate these almost 30-year-old memories than I originally anticipated. Not because they're not things that I've like already processed and integrated, but because like putting myself back in the mentality of being in high school so that I can remember the story and tell the story accurately. And because I'm doing this unscripted, it means I have to like literally put myself back in that time period. And I don't really want to spend like my time not on here thinking about high school because I need to be thinking about the future. So I'm going to try to find a balance. And I think that the best way for me to do that is to pace myself with posting when things are getting like really emotionally dense or when I'm excavating more difficult memories. And also, it's not realistic for me to post every day. Like on the weekend, I'm going to be busy this weekend, so I might not post. So I'm changing my commitment about posting frequency. I'm going to post when I have time and bandwidth to tell the next part of my story. And I trust that you guys can figure out how to find it when it gets posted. I don't know, turn on notifications or whatever. Um, that's up to you. I need to do this in a way that's not going to burn me out or take too much of a toll on my nervous system or affect the bigger project I'm building if I'm like obsessing over this part. So, anyways, I'm also going to stop doing the daily updates, like the behind the scenes updates, because I genuinely hate making thumbnails and I don't want to do it twice. So, if something comes up, I'll either mention it here or elsewhere. Anyways, so where we left off, you got the background of me and Ray and our tumultuous relationship. And I wanted to go back to some of the letters from Brenda because I read a couple more and I was genuinely a little bit surprised because in my mind, the way I remember it is that I was madly, madly in love with her and she was just not interested in me. But then when I pulled out this letter, it kind of gives you a different idea. So I don't have a date, but I'm going to read you this. It says, Nora, my love, I love you. Hello, my sweet baby doll. How are you? I am floating on a cloud since I talked to you tonight. I love to hear your voice and see your beautiful face. If only I could. I missed you so much. I hope and pray tomorrow I will see you. There is going to be, parentheses, well, no, never mind, and parentheses. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Nora, I know you thought this was never possible, but it is. I think I'm starting to see how much you love me and starting to see how much I love you. It's a scary thing to have someone care that much. I fucking love you, baby. I fucking love you, babe. I do. I could never hate someone as special as you. You have given me so much. I love you because of you. I exist and am still here. I live for you and I'd die for you. I miss you so much, so fucking much. I just want to feel your head resting on my lap and my fingers running through your hair. I just want a quick glance, a fragile touch, one scent of you. I just want you. I miss you so much. I love you so fucking much. I love you. I miss you. I love you. P.S. I love you the mostest. Love, Brenda. P.S. Look, no negative thoughts. Aren't you proud? He. Love you, babe. So at least that sort of, it's so funny the way memory changes, but like, at least I don't know, like it wasn't totally one-sided, even if she didn't actually like want me. So here's another one because what I'm going to tell you about this episode is what it was like to be a teenager in 1996 in Los Angeles. And this gives you a little bit of like an idea of how we spent our time. Nora, Hello, my sweet virgin kitty. How are you? I'm fine. Would be great if you were here. Wow, Rocky Horror Picture Show. We used to go every Saturday at midnight. I don't even remember what theater it played at, but that was one thing that my dad fully supported me attending. He actually is the person who first introduced me to Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was like in middle school or high school. He sat me down and was like, "Watch this. It's one of the greatest movies ever made." And so he introduced me to Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, what a cool thing for my dad, who didn't even know I was like a little budding queer, to show me. So we would go on Saturday night to the live Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is where they play the movie and then the audience participates and they have like actors up on stage acting the scenes out. There's like call and response. It's a lot of fun. If you've never been to a live Rocky Horror Picture Show, I highly, highly recommend it. Fun for the whole family, as long as they're old enough to watch the movie. Okay, so wow, Rocky was so fun. Did you enjoy yourself? I did, all except freezing, but Ray did a good job keeping you and I warm. You looked so hot on Saturday. You were beautiful. We met a lot of people. Candace and Alicia want to go next weekend. That would be you, Ray, Amanda, Mike, me, Alicia, and Candace. 7 people. Can we do it? Yes, we've done it before. I want to go next weekend. Do you? Will you be a hooker? I am. I'm not going to be on Mike's shoulder. I'll be on Ray's. Amanda can be on Mike. I hope I can go. None of the pictures came out, not even the one of you and I kissing. We need to take more, like on Friday or something. Talk to your dad. I'm assuming maybe because my dad's a photographer, or maybe I'm needing to get permission to go out. I don't know. We'll go to the cemetery. Would your dad let you? I have a question for you, Kay. What is Ray to you? Question mark. Just out of curiosity. Question mark. Question mark. Well, ... Everyone was so nice there. Well, ... I miss you. If my mom happens to get sick of me, I'm going to you. I need a job. Blah, blah, blah. I love you. Love, Brenda. So that was interesting because that would indicate to me that, at least at this point, Ray and I were still in the closet even from our friends. Or maybe that was when she was still courting me. I don't have the date on here, so I don't know when that was. But I thought that was really interesting. And also, like in hindsight, might be some of the first indications of Brenda having a crush on Ray. And she was like, what's up with you guys? Like, I don't know. I can't speculate. Maybe one day we can have Brenda come on here and account for her crimes of, leading me on. No, I'm just kidding. But that would be interesting to get her memories of that. And speaking of old friends, also my buddy Kate from high school has been watching this with me like in real time as I post these videos. And her and I haven't spoke or seen each other probably since we were 16, 17, maybe 18. I'm not sure. She transferred over to my high school, if I remember correctly. I think she transferred a little bit late after the school year had started, and I think she came from the desert, maybe Joshua Tree. What I remember specifically about her and her house is she lived with her dad, and her dad was this ex-military guy named Mike, and he had a Marvin the Martian tattoo on his calf, which I thought was so cool. Like, what cool dad's gonna have a Marvin the Martian tattoo on their leg? And he worked at an auto shop, so I don't remember him being around a lot. Her house was pretty close to school, so we'd hang out there a lot after school. And 2 things I remember is, one, she had been shot. I don't remember like in the chest or the stomach. Kate, maybe you can comment on here if you dare and clarify for us. And I'm not going to say by who either, because I don't remember 100% accurate and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But so she had a huge scar like on her chest area, but she also had in her closet the t-shirt that she was wearing when she got shot. And so it was this t-shirt with like a little hole in it and like blood all around it. So yeah, I remember that. And I remember that the scar would like attract smoke. Like if we were smoking, it would like the smoke would like go towards her scar. It was so weird. I also remember that her father had a cattle prod. He had like all these self-defense things in the house. I think he was a martial arts guy. And so he had this cattle prod by the front door. And I'm sure we shocked each other with it at some point. I don't remember ever being shocked with it, but I'm sure we did. Yeah, so that was Kate. And the other thing that I remember, not to throw you under the bus here, Kate, you might not even know this actually. At one point, she ran away from home, I think with a boyfriend. And we had no idea where she was. None of us knew where she was. And her dad called me because we were very good friends. And he called me and he was like asking me if I knew where she was. And I didn't. I genuinely didn't. And then he goes, well, I was washing cups with the bottle brush, and it made me think of when she was a baby, washing her baby bottles, and I started crying. And I was like, dude, okay, old man, like, I told you I don't know where your daughter is. What do you want me to do? And I can't remember if it was because of Kate or someone else. I feel like this, I'm not sure, but I do remember being at this older guy's house. He was some older guy that let a bunch of high school kids hang out there, and he would get like food stamps and buy us booze and stuff. Anyways, we were at his house, and at some point the cops came raiding the place, like full cops, guns out. I was outside getting ready to leave, and they're like, put your hands on your head. And so I was standing there with my hands on my head, and like, do you know where so and so is? And I'm like, I genuinely don't. And they were still standing there, like, pointing guns at us. And then finally I was like, can I take my hands off my head? And so they put their guns away and let me go because I genuinely didn't know where the person they were looking for was. But so that's kind of just to give you a little bit of an idea of what kind of little shits we were in high school. This was the 90s. There were no cell phones. So a lot of our parents worked, regular jobs. So we'd get out of school and we'd have a whole afternoon to go fuck around and be dipshits. And, I probably was smoking cigarettes at that time. I definitely was drinking. We'd smoke pot, stuff like that. Like there wasn't a whole lot to do except for find somewhere to hang out and kind of be dumb. And we were all angsty and, bonding over our angst. The other thing around that time is that ecstasy started to come into the scene more, and that created a whole new class of kids, like raver kids. We called them Skittles because they would wear all these super bright colors and like chunky plastic beads necklaces and like bright colored hair and stuff like that, and those were the little raver kids. I never did ecstasy in high school. I stuck with the smaller stuff, I guess. And one time, me and my friends, I don't remember who was there. It was me, Sergio, and someone else. My buddy Sergio, he was this punk rock guy that really, really, I think, actually maybe had a crush on me. But we took the bus out to Santa Monica, 3rd Street, Santa Monica. We didn't have enough money to get back on the bus. So we went out there to Venice and Santa Monica, 3rd Street. And then we had to panhandle to get enough money to get the bus to come home. That was fun. We would go out to punk rock shows on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. So going to the Troubadour, Whiskey A Go-Go, metal and punk and mosh pits and all of that kind of stuff. It was a fun time to be a teenager, but, we weren't really supervised very much, so we could get away with a lot. So I'm telling you all of this to sort of build a picture of what my day-to-day was like, how I was spending my time. I wasn't really spending much time focusing on school, and I was pretty, I was too busy trying to figure out my sexuality, to be honest. Like, I was too busy trying to figure out where I fit in this world that didn't seem to have a place for me to really care about, like, geometry or English or whatever. And plus, California public high schools are shit for education anyways, so it's not, there wasn't, not to bash education, but I'm not sure how much I was going to learn in high school anyways. So that said, though, stay at school, I guess. So all of that was happening, and I was freshman year at San Pedro High School, which is the same high school where they filmed My So-Called Life. If you are a fan of My So-Called Life, if you watch the halls of the high school, that is where I went to high school, and you can see the mascot was the Pirates, black and gold, and you'll see a little background of pirates and stuff like that. They also filmed an episode of Party of Five, for anybody who remembers that. And they had us all come as extras because it was a football game. So we got to come one night and just fill the stands to be the cheering audience. And that was fun. Got autographs from, I think, was Scott Baio? Is that his name? The lead people. So anyways, so we were having a good time, messing around, being punks. And I really, really wanted to do something to make myself look a little less traditional. So I'd been begging my parents to let me dye my hair. I had long, straight brown hair. I would part it in the middle. And finally, my mom said, okay. Now, I just wanted to use like punky color, which is some super bright colored dye you could get at like Walgreens. But my mom said, fine, if you're going to dye your hair, we're going to do it professionally. And so she agreed that I was going to get I could get a purple streak in my hair, dyed in my hair. And I was super excited about that. And then one day I was sitting in class. I don't remember which class this was, but they called for a random backpack search. And I was called. And I had in my backpack at the time, I don't remember exactly what I had, but I know I had cigarettes, I had lighters, I may or may not have had like a pocket knife. And I knew all those things were in my backpack. So I was sitting in the back of the class, of course. And when they called me, I was like, oh, shit. So I went into my bag and I pulled out the pack of cigarettes, the lighter, whatever else. I pulled those things out and had them in my hand, like on the, stealth on the DL. And as I was walking by for the backpack search, actually, and I don't think I've ever told anybody this, by the way, but I dropped that stuff in my friend's lap. She was sitting just in class, and I walked by and I just dropped it in her lap. Someone that I knew would like not freak out, would know what to do. And so I was like, oh, phew, okay, I'm in the clear. So they pull us out, take us down to, I feel like we were in an auditorium or something like that. It was me and 2 or 3 other kids. And whoever it is, I don't remember the teacher, the guy, is going through our backpacks, real thorough backpack search. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And then he opens the smaller backpack and there's an Altoids tin in there with a little piece of duct tape on it. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I saw that and I had a full-on panic attack. And he kind of dug around and he dug past it. And I was like, oh, okay, thank God, I'm in the clear. He's not going to open it. And then he gets back to it. And I'm telling you, if there hadn't been a piece of duct tape on there, I maybe would have got away with this. I'm not sure. But he opens the Altoids can, and lo and behold, there is, I think it was like a nickel, maybe a dime bag. So a nickel bag being like $5 worth, a dime bag being $10 worth, but of like bad skunk weed. Just a tiny little bag of it. And that was it. I was busted. And so they but he didn't say anything because there were other people there. So he let the other students go home or go back to class, and I had to stay behind. And they brought me into the school police officer's office. We had a, Harbor Police Department or whatever. There's not a San Pedro Police Department, but there's like a Harbor Port of Los Angeles department. I'm not sure where he was from. And basically they told me that I was going to be arrested. And so I remember sitting in his office. I wish I remembered his name. And I was crying. And the first thing I said was, now I'll never be president. Which God knows why that was what I said. And he actually, bless his heart, he was like, well, you never know. You might still be president one day, which, in this day and age, having a misdemeanor for pot when you're a kid is like not even, is not a exclusion to presidency. And then he said, we have to call your parents. And I'm like, oh, God, okay. So they called my mom, and she was on speakerphone. And at that point, this part's a little tricky because I told this lie for so long that I don't remember the actual truth of the story. And that is an interesting thing about memory. So at that point, what I had told everybody was it wasn't mine. I'm holding it for a friend. And what I do remember is that I bought that weed for sure. And I bought it because my buddy, and I'm sorry, Denise, to throw you under the bus, but my horseback riding buddy, Denise, was going to come stay the weekend at my house. Like, she went to a different high school. She went to Redondo Union High School. And so it was like a big deal, and I was excited. And and she liked to smoke pot, and I would smoke occasionally. I wasn't like a big pothead. So I picked up a little for us for that weekend, and lo and behold, I got caught. So when the officer called my mom, I was like, "It wasn't mine. It's not mine. I'm holding it for a friend." And my mom goes to the officer, "Okay, I want her to be drug tested." And I'm like, "Oh fuck! If I get drug tested, I am so not gonna come up clean. There's gonna be pot in my pee." And the officer said, "Okay." And so now I'm like fully losing my shit because my story's not gonna hold up if I get drug tested and they see. So what am I gonna do now? Who knows? And I sat there for a long time. I think they were waiting for, they had to get a arresting officer to come and take me down to the station to book me in. And I don't know if this was intentional or a coincidence. It definitely felt intentional because I was sitting there waiting in the office for a long time. And then right at lunchtime, when the entire school is out eating lunch, they handcuff me, behind my back, handcuff me, and marched me out from the administrative building through the whole front of the school, along this long walkway. And I'm there, and I've got my hands behind my back, I'm handcuffed, and my head is down. And so my hair is falling in my face because I had long hair. And I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't, brush it out of my hair because I was handcuffed. And they did a perp walk in front of the entire school and walked me right into the police car. And at that point, I don't know what I was doing, but I remember just being like, oh, fuck. But there was music playing in the cop car, and I feel like I was being an obnoxious teenager and singing along to it on the way to the station. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, so they walked me out in front of the whole school and brought me down to the Harbor Police Station. And I think that is a good place to stop for today. And we will get into the fallout from that lovely little incident next time. And we'll also get back to my romantic entanglements and how things escalated once I was suspended from school. So, all right. I hope you guys have a nice day. Anybody else have any high school run-ins with the law they'd like to share in the comments? And I'll see you guys next time.